Hey guys, two videos in one day, aren't you? Lucky people. And yeah,
Toys are more gender than they have ever.
Advert. Stop, literally. I'm trying to go back to the beginning and it won't let me. Right. Okay, right. This is a video about a study done by Dr. Elizabeth Sweet, and I have to call her doctor even though she's just a doctor of sociology. Her stats, everything in this is based off of her dissertation, and I'll include a link at the bottom. And so I wanted to make this, so I went through it. I'd done some research into the claims made into this, and yeah, let's go for it.
Toys are more gendered than they have ever been before.
Now, I'm not sure how true that is. For example, most of my research did yield in the past, I'll let her go on, but in the past, the boys' toys equal tools and cars, while the girls had cleaning stuff and dolls. Okay? There were some adverts that were gender neutral, but most of them seem to be geared towards a gender that they were intended to be used by. What's interesting is that also gender neutral toys seemed to, like for example, household items that were nothing to do with cooking, they always seemed to be a boy. I just thought that was interesting. This was, by the way, I did put in 1970s toy ads, but I did get some stuff up for like 1950s and 60s as well, which also showed gendered adverts. It seemed as though it wasn't just limited to like now. And I don't know about the 30% of toys, because it did say earlier on that she'd only analysed 7,000, so it would be 30% of the 7,000. And I think she might have been looking specifically for other toys. Now, this can be true, but it's changing. For example, boys are more inclined to model for girly toys. For example, hairdressing kits, etc., which is always thought to be a women's thing. But it doesn't always encourage boys to play with them, and children will always play with toys that appeal to them personally. Like for example, I loved going around in toy shops and setting off the guns. It was just something that I enjoyed doing. It was funny, it was noisy, I enjoyed it. It didn't mean that I liked playing with my girly toys any less. It just meant that I enjoyed doing that kind of thing. Okay? In toys should always just be toys. Okay? Right, and if a boy wants to use an easy bake oven, let him use the easy bake oven. However, you don't have to have a boy in the easy bake oven advert to appeal to boys. No, he'll play with it if he wants to play with it. Let him be.
Some girls want the chemistry set, and they shouldn't feel like it's just for boys.
I enjoyed chemistry. I didn't want a chemistry set. Well, I did, kind of. I wanted a chemistry set so that I could practice my experiments at home. That's the reason why I wanted the chemistry set. I'm not going into a career in chemistry, by the way. I just enjoyed the practical side of it.
Boys want to play with guns, and girls want to play ballet. I think that's a good thing, and we should encourage them to sort of embrace the gender that they've been given.
If boy wants to play with the guns and a girl wants to do ballet, let them. I couldn't find this study. Not that I actually did try, because I found it to be quite a ludicrous claim in general, because Barbie has had every job under the sun. And it says that a study found that Barbie often makes girls think they can do fewer jobs than boys. I'll probably make a tack on video to this video about this issue if I can find the study. But it is a ludicrous claim to me, because Barbie has had every single job under the sun, including stuff that women have yet to do. Like, for example, she's been president. And she was also a NASCAR driver. So I don't see what kind of jobs is making girls think that they can't do, that boys can. I don't know where this has come from.
It can shape people's aspirations, how confident they believe themselves to be.
Okay, I actually did research on this. Yes. And it was not an ad for Mattel. It was not an ad made by Mattel. It was not an ad for Mattel. It wasn't even an ad for Barbie, even though Mattel were involved. It wasn't an ad for Mattel or by Mattel. It was an advert for. Forgive me if I've mispronounced this. I'm not fashionista. I don't know all the fashion houses' names, right? It was an ad by Moschino. And although Mattel were involved, it wasn't an advert for a new Barbie. It was an advert for a limited edition Moschino made Barbie. And it was made by Moschino for the purposes of selling these. They sold out within an hour. There were 700 made, which counts as it being a limited edition. But it wasn't an actual Barbie ad. I'll let you see it. Right, this was not made by Mattel. It was made with Mattel being involved, but it wasn't by Mattel. Here we go.
So the last scene of Barbie is so fierce.
Now, how do you think a dad?
That boy, aside from sounding kind of uncomfortable and wooden during the advert, I felt was being made to do homosexual stereotypes. So fierce. Like, oh, we know, code for gay. No. Here we go.
Dad feels when his son wants to get this. Yeah!
And now we've reached the end of the video, so I'm just going to talk for a wee bit about my personal experiences with toys growing up. When I was growing up, I didn't have that many. Like, I had Legos, I had Barbie, I had Cindy, I had soft toys, I had cuddly toys. And I enjoyed my toys. Okay, I enjoyed running around playing with my toys. I had dolls. I had dolls with prams. I'm pretty sure I would put several dolls in the one pram. Because life. I would also have things like, I also had this little post office set that I remember playing with my cousin with. And we would play post office and things like that, and we would take turns being the postmaster or the postmistress. And and we would do this. And also, it doubled as a shop, so we'd come up with things, and he'd be like, I would like to buy these things, please. Now, ding, 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 ding. Yes, that would be £5.65, please. Yeah. So I played with all my friends with all my stuff. It wasn't just, oh, this is a girl's thing, you can't play with it. I played football, I played basketball, I played all sorts of stuff. I also played with quite an inordinate amount of Barbies. And this is where I want to find this study, because there isn't anything that I think that I can't do unless I've already tried it and I've proven that I can't do it. It's 2.6 million views, by the way. Let children play with the toys that they want to play with. Don't force them into playing with gender neutral toys, or don't force boys into playing with what you deem to be gender neutral toys. Let them find out for themselves what they like, because they might like to run around and play soldiers with the guns, but they might not. They might want to sit and bake with an easy bake oven, and they might grow up to be a chef. Or they might play soldiers with guns, and they might grow up to be in the army. They might want to play with the hairdressing stuff and grow up to be a hairdresser. They might want to play with Barbie and grow up to be a fashion designer. It's up to them to play with what they want to play with, and we shouldn't be demonizing children. If children want to play with certain toys that are for their gender, we shouldn't be demonizing these children. Okay? And the adverts are based off of what sells. Okay? And if more girls are buying an Easy Bake Oven, guess what? It'll be marketed towards girls. It doesn't mean the boys can't play with it, or the boys aren't allowed to play with it. I don't get where all this is coming from. It doesn't happen like that. It hasn't happened like that for many, many years. That's my last word on it. It hasn't happened for many, many years. But according to these people, because the adverts are now targeting the gender that's buying it the most, it's now a problem. And I can't see a problem with it. I just can't. And that was my last word on it. I can't see a problem with it. That was definitely my last word on it. I can't see a problem with it. So I'll say peace out now, and enjoy the rest of your day. That just jumped. How much nipple is too much on Facebook? Ha!